What are some little known relationship green flags? I feel like there's a lot of detailed examples that largely boil down to two things, empathy and emotional maturity. It's sad that those two are so often lacking, that people become surprised by it. Yeah, I wonder how rare it is to actually find these two very important attributes. From my experience, the more damaged you are, the less you recognize them. It depends. In my case, I'm much more emotionally mature and empathetic because I'm damaged. But here's the big difference. I was damaged, and now I'm mentally healthy and happy. But going through depression, heroin addiction, and suicidal ideation made me a better person in the long run. It allowed me to grow and learn how to be emotionally stable. Many people teeter on that edge of just getting by, so they never actually improve. But I was so far gone that I was forced to either die or improve. So I improved. Being able to emotionally connect even after an argument or during. I have friends that love having intellectual battles between themselves. It's how they connect to each other and express their love. I can relate to this. I enjoy having intellectual arguments. Would you say you love being mentally challenged? Absolutely. During the beginning of our relationship, whenever my partner and I would argue, he would try to hold my hand, rub my arm, or hug me as we talked. When I'm wound up, I feel like I need space to think, like physical space, so I would always push him away. We'd always get to a point in our arguments where he would just shut down or walk out of the apartment, and I couldn't figure out why. I thought that he just didn't care enough to talk these things out with me. Finally, I learned that physical touch is a big part of his love language, and that was what he needed during/after our fights, to feel emotionally connected with me. Since then, when one of us gets upset, we hold hands and talk things out. This one time my boyfriend and I were having an argument that we couldn't find a solution to, and we had easily spent over a half hour thoroughly discussing it, trying to find a solution. At the end, we basically came to the conclusion that we just weren't going to find a solution at that moment, and I joked saying we so rarely have problems we don't even know how to fix it when we do have one, and he laughed and responded with "we'll circle back and deal with it the next time it happens." Hasn't happened since, and we are going on 3 years strong. We both couldn't be more in love. Edit. My boyfriend's mad. He said he wants his cut of the karma, lol. Thanks for the upvotes, guys. The ability to coexist in very companionable silence. A friend of mine once said, when silence is not cringe, the friendship is real. My dad always told me all I needed to do to make friends was to be okay at talking, good at listening, and excellent at shutting. That's damn good advice. Honesty. Genuine interest in each other's hobbies. Don't have to do them, but at least support it. Strong communication. You feel like you're hanging out with your best friend, except you wanna smash. Bold of you to assume I don't wanna smash my best friend. Smashing the homies ain't gay. If you are wearing socks, just say no homo afterwards, and it's all good. Or good game. It washes a gay away. Good game, Pat's butt plug. You don't feel like they are playing games. Communication is direct, and you don't feel too nervous about what you should or shouldn't do or say, and you're not worried about what they do or don't do or say. Some butterflies is normal, of course. Edit. To clarify, my point here is it's possible to meet someone who, right from the beginning, you're not overly concerned about your interactions. You don't have to think too much about what to text them or when. Same with calls. They don't leave you wondering about when they will respond to you and what delaying means. They don't say or do cryptic things that you have to go home and call in a panel of friends to analyze. This is not to say that, in the beginning, you shouldn't take care to be on your better behavior and not to overshare. This is not game playing, it's being considerate. Cheesy but true. Communication in a relationship is like cell phone service. Lose it and you start playing games, or searching for a better provider, or start indulging in the neighbor's Wi-Fi. No matter how angry you are at one another, you will still go out of your way or they go out of their way to help. I'll be wicked pissed, but I'll angrily make my wife her favorite dinner, even though I don't want to eat. No matter how angry we are at one another, usually only last a short period of time, we will never sabotage or try to teach them a lesson. Many times, it ends up being both apologizing to one another Arguing and getting angry is just part of a relationship and unavoidable. It is how you deal with it that sets it apart from a healthy relationship versus a bad one. Edit. Thanks for the reward thingies. There is never any harm telling someone you love them. I remember the time I was pissed at my so, and then she accidentally spilled some sauce on her lap and I angrily helped her clean it up with my hanky. And you don't think anything of it. Not only not thinking of it, often, angrily doing something nice for my so during a disagreement can cool me down and give me a second to think through things from her perspective and allows me to be more empathetic. I love the mental image of you angrily stirring, muttering under your breath as you carefully measure ingredients and punch in the settings for the oven, just filled with fury, crossing your arms tightly over your chest as you glare at the food while it cooks. That is pretty accurate. I had to laugh when I saw your comment. Yup, that's me. I'm chuckling at the mental image of angrily cooking a meal. Use my razor without asking. Harumph. Tell me I'm becoming my dad. I'll show you. Now, where'd I put the frickin' basil? Make you the best goddamn spaghetti you ever had. We'll see who's being unreasonable. Unreasonable, maybe. Unseasonable, never. I drink a lot of water and sometimes my BF would stay until late, and I would fall asleep. Before leaving he always made sure I had a glass full of water on my nightstand in case I woke up thirsty. It's always the small details. Edit. I drink a healthy amount of water. Thank you for your concern lol. My boyfriend does this too. I'm never without a water glass. If he walks by and it isn't full, he fills it up. I don't know how to tell you this. When your so takes criticism from you seriously without immediately trying to turn it back on you. If the converse is also true, you two stand a great chance of going the distance. I think it's important to realize that this is where you can be out the gate, or it's somewhere you can get to. My wife reacts very poorly to criticism, not because she can't stand to have flaws in her behavior pointed out, but because she feels that when I criticize her actions, I'm telling her that she's garbage, and in a day or two I'll be telling her to move out. That's a direct effect of her upbringing, and what's important is that she recognizes the issue for what it is, and we talk about it. It's made us so much better. This is amazing advice for any of the green flags in this thread. People come with their own experiences, but they aren't set in stone. Honest communication and working together on challenges is huge. Yeah, I hate it when people just don't take criticism. On the other hand, I get so nervous and hate giving criticism when they take it as I'm not doing good enough, and they hate me, so I get upset at myself. All I want is someone who can handle that well, so I can be open with them. Listening to you and remembering the things you've said. Back when me and my boyfriend started dating, he'd sometimes bring up things that I've said before. My favorite foods, candies, etc. Made me super happy and could tell he genuinely cared. I'm so bad at remembering details like this. I've started to record them in my phone for friends and partners, and it enables me to be so much more thoughtful. For instance, a friend of mine mentioned that two of her favorite desserts were cannoli and cake. So for her birthday I made her a cannoli cake. She was so touched and didn't remember saying it, so it came across as very insightful, haha. Eater, I'm so glad that my most upvoted comment is about my most fiercely kept secret in my friendships, haha. Hopefully it helps all of you out. My ex once tagged me in a post about a strawberry shortcake birthday cake. She forgot about it and nobody had ever done anything nice for, so she was blown away when I bought one for her birthday almost a full year later. A few months later she was eating a maple bar donut and casually mentioned she wished she could have a whole maple donut cake. So the next year on her birthday I took the day off of work, and when she came home I had baked a whole maple donut cake. I'm not a baker, but that cake was amazing. Of course she still thought I didn't love her, because I never did anything for her. She said that kind of stuff was baseline relationship stuff and I never went above and beyond for her. Poor girl was so broken she couldn't accept love. Have you heard of love languages? It might not be that she couldn't accept love, but that the way you both give and receive love is incompatible. For example, my love language is words of affirmation. I'm sensitive and need to hear from you that you love me. My ex was big on acts of service, which I loved too, but didn't really scratch that itch. Like, oversimplifying it, He cleaned my apartment for me once when I was out of town, and it was so lovely and appreciated. But it would have gone way further for me if he had instead said, "Hi, I missed you so much. Tell me about your trip," and talked to me about it. It's not that he or I couldn't receive love. It's just that we were speaking different languages. Active listening. Not just being there while you talk, acutely giving opinions, advice if asked for, and generally caring for the conversion. Bonus. Active listening during an argument. Not trying to win, but trying to resolve the problem. Edit. Grammar. This is super important, but also the polar opposite is important. Being able to comfortably sit together in complete silence for prolonged periods is a good green flag. The best relationship I had was when we both fell asleep on the couch watching TV, and I woke up with her literally using me as a full body pillow. Of course, I couldn't move until she woke up and suffered from muscle cramps and pins and needles for about 3 hours. But the fact that she slept through the night was a milestone in the relationship, and I wasn't going to move until she woke up. Later, she began teleporting into bed after falling asleep because I learned better positioning and leverage. I'm sad on your behalf, this is past tense. But I had a relationship that was great, and it ended amicably, and is now just part of my story, and that's okay too. We are still in touch, kinda. Her mom still invites me to family dinners, even though she's married with 2 kids now, the ex, not her mother. I think mom is still holding out hope for the relationship, even though we've both moved on to a friendship, instead of squishing bits together. Honestly, this is so important. I've had to get rid of certain people because it was clear that they didn't care to actually listen. My ex and best friend are perfect examples of this. I found myself when in phone calls with them, I would constantly be asking questions. How was your day? Oh, that happened? Wow. That must have been hard. Did you ever finish that thing you were going to do? Oh, that's good. Then when it came to me, I would start talking about my day and things that happened, and it would be like crickets and I would just get back, yeah, for sure, okay, yeah, anyway, back to what I was saying. Then my ex would tell me that I didn't talk enough. I'm like, excuse me? Maybe because when I actually feel like talking and start telling you something, you don't care and just go on about yourself. My best friend would never ask how I was, but I would always ask how she was, what she was up to, ask about her son. Not once I can remember her asking how I was, or how I was feeling. I lived with my last ex, and I was so excited about possibly getting into a school program locally, I literally never shut up about it. My friends were like, calm down, we get it, you're gonna get in, and it's gonna be fine. When the day came for me to talk to an advisor and see if I could get in, my ex didn't ask about it or wish me luck. 3 days after I found out I got in, her and I were arguing, and she brought up all the things on her plate that were making it hard for her to just talk to me since she was so exhausted from work, family, and friends. I said I have things going on too, but I still somehow manage to ask her how her day was and talk to her like a person, while she never even asked about my school thing. She was like, I just forgot when you were going to find out. Like I hadn't been talking about it every day for weeks. Really hurt, but she's an ex for a reason. Non-sexual compliments. You taste good. You smell different when you're awake. Man, I laughed at this for a solid 5 minutes. Can't wait to say this to someone. Being able to have healthy conflict without fear that conflict will cause the end of the relationship. It's green flag and a relief to have natural disagreements and communication about those disagreements without constant fear that someone's going to hit the nuclear option. Edit. Also, doctoring my coffee and bringing it to me in bed was a smaller green flag. Edit 2. Doctoring meaning putting cream and sugar in, and thank you for the awards and gold Reddit friends. Underrated comment. Also, no matter how pissed off you are at E/O, you're still supporting, respectful, and considerate of one another. Edit. For clarification, E/O equals each other. And thanks for the gold, fellow Redditor. Laughter. And also, I've been with my partner for 40 years this month, and I still smile when I see him across a room. He still makes me laugh, and my heart soars when I think of him. Awesome. And congratulations to you both. Been with my wife almost 10 years now, and she always tells me how she loves that I make her laugh at least once every day. I hope she still says the same thing 30 years from now. Your partner does things for you without asking and remembers little details. For example, I like eating with a fruit fork, the smaller version of the dinner fork. I actually googled that, since our family calls them the little forks lol. Anyway, my partner remembers this and will grab it for me when we're dishing up food. Another good one is they make you feel appreciated. Edit. It may be a cake fork or salad fork. OMG, same here. My fiancée always grabs me the little forks, or as I like to call them, normal forks. She prefers the monster forks. Regardless, it's such a simple, nothing gesture that shows she's listening and she cares. Marrying that wonderful person this Saturday. Edit, been working all day and just checked in. Thank you all for the well wishes. We are super excited. Not the wedding we had envisioned when we got engaged, but it's going to be perfect. Congrats. Sounds like you two are made for each other, but it's not. Like you need a random 16-year-old telling you that lol. Damn, imagine getting this much karma on a burner account. If it's a chore you both hate, you do it together. My late husband and I both hated folding laundry, but it had to be done. So we always did it together. Made the chore less of a pain. My dad did that with us growing up. Anytime he needed to run errands or do housework he would ask me or my brother to keep him company and talk to him. He said that made it was less about being bored and annoyed by doing chores and more happy hanging out and bonding time with his kids. It was always fun too. He genuinely did like spending time with us and joking around. We were never super close because he was pretty strict, but I always liked that quality time with him. It's a pretty convoluted story, but I was dating a guy, had to drive his car to get him from a situation, and wrecked his car due to mechanical failure, and called my mama to come get me so we could go get him. Rescued him. Then had to tell him I'd wrecked his car. His first question, "Are you okay?" My mom overheard. That one's a keeper. I've told this story before, but a week or two into dating my boyfriend, I was driving to work, and one of the wheels fell off my car on the highway. I pulled over to the side of the road and called my boss and a tow truck, and then texted my new beau just for comfort. He asked where on the highway I was, and said he'd be right there, without hesitating. When he showed up and ran across the busy highway and scooped me up into a hug, I felt so loved and safe and thought, oh shit, this could be the one. And what now? It's been 4 years and we are very in love. Don't ever challenge him at Frogger. They trust you to stay at their apartment alone. Yeah. I thought I was the only one. The first time my partner said I could stay at his place in the morning to sleep in when he ran errands made me feel so good. When they do this, you gotta promptly steal everything they own. The real LPT is always in the comments. You recommend them a book or movie and they actually take the time to check it out. Once I dated a guy who would lie about watching things I recommended. I didn't figure it out at first, but when he told me that I felt so heartbroken. Why? Yeah, I just broke up with a person who would sometimes tell me yeah, I lied about that just to shut you up when I would bring up a situation or something. What a jerk. If she shows equal interest in hanging out with you, if it feels like you're dragging them into going on a date, they're really not into you, no matter what they may say. Besides, let's be honest. Wouldn't you rather date someone who is as excited and interested in seeing you and you are in seeing them? Exactly this. I've instantly lost attraction to a few girls because they were just so fake in terms of interest. People can act all they want, but their interest in hanging out is a clear way to tell if they really care. Came home from working a 12-hour shift one night to a full dinner with my favorite dessert. Never had a girlfriend just decide to cook me a full meal for me to come home to like that. That's so sweet. Able to forgive mistakes. Early in our relationship I accidentally backed my car into my fiance's car while coming out of the driveway. I definitely did damage. I immediately started freaking out and crying and he just calmly got out of his car, came up to mine, and asked if I was okay. He got me to calm down and said it was fine, it was just an accident. He never made me feel bad about it. He called it a little bump to my friends to minimize my embarrassment. We laugh about it to this day. Side note, his dad who works with cars fixed his car for him at no cost. Edit. No, he did not have any way of knowing his dad would/could fix the car. His father is not a mechanic. His father knows a mechanic. His father didn't bring up fixing the car until several months later.